You've got goals, big ambitions. But there's a problem. Your own feelings are holding them hostage. Why is it that the more important a task is, the harder it is to actually start? We've all been there, staring at the blank page, the empty gym, or that phone call you absolutely have to make. The goal is crystal clear, the desire is real, but some invisible force just holds you in place. We tell ourselves, I'll do it when I feel ready, or I just need a jolt of motivation. So we wait, and as we wait, the anxiety builds, the guilt piles up, and the task you're avoiding quietly grows into a monster in the back of your mind. But what if the problem isn't your work ethic? What if it's not laziness at all? What if it's just fear? The ancient Stoic philosophers knew that fear and procrastination were two sides of the same coin. They understood that waiting to feel good before you act is a trap. It guarantees a life of standing still. So they developed a mental tool to break free. And today, we're breaking down that simple Stoic trick to neutralize fear and get things done, no matter how you feel. Let's get real about what that cycle of procrastination actually feels like. It's not some lazy Sunday afternoon. It's a prison we build for ourselves, and the bars are made of anxiety. It always starts with a spark. You decide you're finally going to write that book, start your business, or get in the best shape of your life. For a moment, you feel that rush of possibility. The future looks bright. But then, it's time to act. You sit down to start, and a tidal wave of emotions hits you. It's a nasty cocktail. There's the fear of failure. What if I'm just not good enough? There's the pressure of perfectionism. This has to be perfect, and since I don't know how to make it perfect, I can't even start. And then there's the sheer feeling of being overwhelmed. This is just too big. Where would I even begin? So your brain, trying to protect you from this discomfort, offers a tempting escape. It whispers, "You feel bad. Let's do something easy to feel better, just for a minute." Psychologists call this an emotion regulation problem. We're not actually avoiding the task. We're avoiding the uncomfortable emotions we've attached to it. And so you check your email, you scroll through social media, you organize your desk for the 5th time, telling yourself you're just getting ready. And for a moment, it works. The anxiety fades, but the task is still there. And now a new feeling joins the party. Guilt. You know you should have started. The pressure gets heavier, the monster gets bigger, and the next time you try to face it, the fear is even stronger. This is the vicious cycle. Procrastination creates stress, and that stress creates even more procrastination. You are both the inmate and the warden in a prison built on the promise of feeling better later. This is why the old advice to just do it is completely useless. It ignores the emotional wall standing in the way. The Stoics knew you couldn't just crush fear. You had to outsmart it.
Most of us live under a quiet but powerful lie. We believe we must feel good before we act. We think we need motivation to train, inspiration to create, confidence to lead. So we wait for the right feeling. This is the deception that keeps people stuck. You are waiting for permission from your own emotions. But emotions are not wise generals giving strategic commands. They are closer to a weather report, reactive, shifting, and often dramatic. They are observations, not orders. Stoic thinkers like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus built their philosophy around this distinction. Their aim was not to become cold or unfeeling. Their aim was control. They practiced what we can call the art of separation, the discipline of acting regardless of emotional noise. Epictetus put it simply, "It is not events that disturb us, but our opinions about them. A blank page cannot stop you. A barbell cannot stop you. A phone cannot stop you. What stops you is the story you attach to the moment, the fear of judgment, the fear of failure, the belief that discomfort means danger. We translate the signal, "I feel afraid," into the command, "Do not proceed," and so we freeze. The Stoic approach is different. You acknowledge the feeling, and then you move anyway. Fear is allowed to exist, but it is not allowed to decide. Doubt can speak, but it does not get the final vote. When you understand this, something changes. You realize the door was never locked. You can feel fear and still act. You can feel uncertain and still step forward. Feeling and action are separate. Master that separation, and hesitation begins to lose its grip.
To apply this in real life, the Stoics used a simple mental model known as the dichotomy of control. Everything in front of you can be divided into two categories: what you control and what you do not. Most anxiety comes from focusing on the second category: outcomes, opinions, future scenarios, emotional states. These are not yours to command. Yet this is where procrastination lives, in imagined futures and uncontrollable variables. Now consider what is fully under your authority: your judgments, your intentions, your voluntary actions in this exact moment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Your task is not to guarantee success. Your task is not to feel perfect. Your task is to direct effort into the next controllable move, not the whole project, not the distant finish line, just the next physical step. When write a book becomes open the document, fear shrinks. When transform your body becomes tie your shoes, resistance weakens. Power returns the moment focus becomes tactical. If this idea is already landing, take a simple controllable action right now. Subscribe to the channel. One click, a small signal of intentional living.
Now we make this operational. When procrastination hits, use a three-step ritual. First, observe and name the feeling. Do not fight it. Do not dramatize it. Simply recognize it. Say, "This is fear of failure," or "This is overwhelm." Naming creates distance. You become the observer rather than the victim. Second, isolate the smallest controllable action. Shrink the task until it becomes undeniable. Not train for an hour. Put on one sock. Not write the report. Open the document. Not have the conversation. Pick up the phone. This anchors your mind in movement instead of imagination. Third, act while the fear is still present. Do not wait for comfort. Execute the action alongside the discomfort. This is how authority is reclaimed. Your brain sounds an alarm, and you continue anyway. Each time you do this, you send a message. Fear is not law. Emotion is not command. You are capable of movement under pressure. This is the beginning of discipline in its purest form.
At first, this practice feels unnatural, but repetition creates transformation. Every action taken in spite of emotion strengthens a new pattern. Discomfort stops meaning retreat. It starts meaning advance. Momentum builds quietly. Opening the document leads to one sentence. One sentence leads to clarity. Clarity leads to progress. Courage is not a trait you wait for. It is a skill you construct through behavior. Confidence follows action. Direction follows effort. The path reveals itself through motion. You will still feel fear. You will still feel doubt. But you will no longer be stranded by them. You will know how to navigate internal storms without surrendering control of the wheel. For centuries, procrastination has been misunderstood as laziness. The Stoics recognized it as emotional conflict. Their solution was simple: detach action from feeling. Focus on the next controllable move. Begin before you feel ready. Stop waiting for permission from fear. Issue yourself the order to start. Before you leave, write down one tiny action you will take today and put it in the comments. And if you want more practical philosophy for modern performance, like the video and subscribe.